Hello, and welcome back to the Whole Journey podcast. We are so excited to be back for another episode on season 2, and we hope you enjoyed season 1. This episode, we are talking about relationship dilemmas. We have a lot of questions about relationships. We seem to get the most feedback when we talk about relationships.
Yes. They like
because everybody can relate to it.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Before we jump in, I just want to give a special shout out. We have some new cups, Whole Journey Podcast cups. Shout out to Creative Touch by Kobe. She made us some cups, and we actually will be giving one away. So stay tuned to our social media to find out how you can win your own cup. So
we're going to jump right in.
Dive it in.
let's get started.
This is deep water.
It is.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, and that's
we all
whether
be
you're
wading in
single,
it.
married, dating.
Yeah.
I think there's some good questions to think about. So,
Yeah. We're going to just start off hot.
okay.
So, should you accept your partner the way that they are?
I think that's a loaded question, which I think
is.
they're all going to be loaded questions.
They are.
And I think so. Okay, I can't answer this. I can't answer it as a married person, but I'm taking myself back to like the dating phase. I think. Let me start by saying, I think that both people should be committed to constantly growing and constantly evolving.
Okay.
And I feel like if both people have that commitment, then that kind of takes away the need to just accept them the way they are. You still have to, but you also know that your partner is committed to changing and growing and evolving and are doing things to do that, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. And I think that kind of gives you some hope.
Okay.
You know, like, well, maybe he won't be stupid all his life.
Hopefully he's not stupid when you get with him.
Right.
now.
That's what it's hard. Like you said, it's a loaded question. But one, I'll be watching podcasts and stuff, and other podcasts. But it's like you have to. If you get with this person today, are you okay if they never change? Like, are you okay? Like, that's how you have to look at it when you're dating a person. Like, if he never changes, if she never changes anything about herself, can I see myself with this person for the long
lifetime?
haul?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that if you look kind of core values are what you want to really align with. Is this person trustworthy? Do they have good character? Do they have good integrity? Now, those are things that need to be consistent over time. Whether they wake up early in the morning or, whether they like the tissue going up or down, those things should not matter as much. Those are the things that you should be more flexible about. So if you were to evaluate your partner, their qualities, you should have an idea of like what you're not flexible on. No, you cannot be a criminal and date me. So you need to be inflexible on those kind of things. But I do think there is room for flexibility. And if they always, don't wash the dishes behind themselves, can I live with that?
Yeah.
But you have to be really clear about what your core values are so that you find somebody who aligns with that, because that's what's really going to tear you up if y'all core values don't align.
That's why I think the single season is so important. And we talked about that.
Yeah.
I think everybody deserves to go through a single season. Even though I ended up marrying that person, I went through a single period where it was just me. Like, I had my own space, and I got to know me. And I think that was very important, because until you know yourself, you don't really know what your core values are.
Yeah.
You don't know what's most important to you. It's kind of like, how can you love another person if you don't love yourself? If you don't know what your core values are, how can you mandate that from somebody else?
Right.
Yeah.
That's
And
true.
another thing with, if you can accept this person for who they are, because you get together and then you start trying to change them, then comes resentment in a relationship on both sides.
Yes.
So I'm resenting you because you're not who I want you to be, and you resenting me because this is who I was when you met me, and now you want me to be somebody totally different.
That just, and y'all may know where I'm going with this. That took me back to an event that we went to, and this guy gave his wife a big ultimatum. And I think it was as a result of not that dating stage, you know, like gave her a huge ultimatum. Like she wanted to make a career change, and it was like, if you continue on this path, we won't be together. And it's like, did y'all discuss that up front? Is that something that you knew? Did you know that that's something that she always wanted to do?
Yeah.
Because if so, how dare you not support her? And that's even loaded too, because I can go in about that. But yeah, I think being upfront and honest in the dating sector kind of lets you know, kind of like you said, those little things like, okay, he, you know, leaves his dirty clothes beside the dirty clothes basket.
Yeah, beside it.
It'll help you. It'll help you look over those kind of things. But like
Who he is at the core.
yeah, oh, you just a liar.
But that's why you should date well. Like you need to get away. I'm always encouraging people to get away from these dinner dates where this person tells you who they are. You need to see them win. You need to see them lose. You need to see how they celebrate holidays. You
Take
need
them
to
to an
see
escape room.
Yes. How do they problem solve? You know, do they shut down? Because that's common. You may be a person who likes to talk it out and rationalize, but they act out. You need to know that stuff before you knee deep in a relationship and you for 6 months in. And, oh, we never have arguments. Oh, he's always go with the flow. No, he not. He not.
He just ain't. Y'all ain't faced the right amount of adversity yet. And I think, you know, we have our complaints and stuff about it. I think everybody has things they don't like about their spouses, but I am happy about the person that I have in adversity. You know, like that right there, because it's not going to always be high. Like you said, we don't ever. Okay, what's going to happen when those vows are tested? Sickness and health. Like, who is he going to become when you need him the most? And they go back to those core values.
Yep.
So, are we accepting them or not? I mean,
I feel like you should accept your partner for who they are. When you decide to be with that person, you are accepting them, flaws and all, who they are when you get right there. Now, if they change and get better, hallelujah.
Yeah.
But if they never change,
that goes back to, though, you know, they say like the version you see when you're dating, that's the best.
That's the representative. That's what they say.
That's the best.
That's the mask that they wear.
Yes. So it's like, it's downhill from there, sister. No.
They're ready.
Like, I mean, they're presenting to you the best version of them at that time.
I think that they're presenting to you who you said you wanted. They're being what you said you like. They're being.
I don't do that anymore.
I don't think more so. I think it's more than a female
what are
thing,
you
though.
looking for?
It is.
I'll know when I find it.
That's a female thing. And I used to tell my now husband that, like, when we used to have our breakups and he called himself dating other people, I'm like, stop going into these situationships telling them about me and what your problems were with me, because now they're about to make sure, oh, you said she do this? I'm about to make sure, even if that's not their authentic self, they're selling you a something, a image, a idea, because you have went into it telling them everything you don't like.
Yeah. My wife don't cook. Oh, I make mean greens. I can cook greens real. I have your bath water run. You know, that's not real.
But I think that's a guy thing. Like, I think women, we are way more observant, you know? And I think that's what causes, like, it's, you know, they say, like, women cheat different because they look like that other person fulfills something that you ain't even have to tell them. Men, they go in, my wife don't ever. My wife don't ever. And that side chick over there taking those like,
okay, I gotta wake up
she
at
don't
5
cook.
a.m.
She don't cook. Okay, I'm gonna cook. Probably sister Charlie can't even cook. She on Pinterest and TikTok looking for recipes. Okay, you said she don't ever wash your socks. Oh, bring your socks over here. She over there about to pass out trying to wash your socks. Like, y'all give them. This is a pro tip for the guys. Y'all give them too much. Like,
I think it go both ways.
Do you?
Yes, it does.
You know, she sees it all. So she knows.
but guys become that too. Yeah. I've heard so many guys say, I did what she told me to do, and now I'm in, so I don't have to do that anymore. Y'all know that?
I think I have to be conscious that every man is not like my husband.
No,
like,
they are not.
Take it or leave it. This me. You can tell me to do it. I ain't gonna do it. This is, like, I guess
people want to be accepted, and they do what they have to do to gain acceptance. When they're in good, then you see them switch.
Yeah,
and you hear that story.
Yeah, you hear that a lot.
Yeah, they switch up too.
Especially like you be together, and then they be like, we got married, and he was a whole different person. She was a whole different person.
Yeah,
like just
that goes back to the people thinking. I was having this conversation Friday. People think that like marriage is like a magic switch. Like, I will figure it out. No, you better figure it out before. You better figure it out before, because it's not. It's not like he is a pig today and tomorrow he gonna be Prince Charming. You just put a tux on a pig. Like, he still, that's who he is. I'm serious. That's who he is. It don't change.
He or she. That's who he or she is.
Yeah. They don't. When y'all get married,
actually think that it gets a little harder.
Yeah.
Once you get married.
A lot harder.
Absolutely.
Because you can't just walk away.
The expectations change though. My expectations for you as the sneaky link versus my expectations of you as boyfriend, girlfriend, or even my expectations as we're dating.
Yeah.
And then the expectations for you're my husband, you're my wife. Yeah. Oh, we changing it by leaps and bounds now. Yeah. So it gets harder.
Absolutely.
Locked in.
Okay, next question
for y'all.
Should married couples have joint or separate bank accounts? And I want to put emphasis on married couples, because there are some dating couples, long-term girlfriend couples out here sharing money. And I just... Look how you laughing.
Buying properties, like
starting businesses together.
Oh, yeah. I've heard of that.
And I have seen that go south. So I want to put emphasis on married couples, because be careful, sis. Trying to bring him in on, y'all starting a business together. A business partner, it's like being in a marriage. Like, y'all make decisions.
It's a baby.
Yeah.
The business becomes the baby. The child who gets custody of it when it doesn't work.
Exactly. So I'll answer that. I think we talked about this on one other episode. I think you have both. You have one joint account or multiple joint accounts. I'm just saying. Y'all have joint accounts, and then y'all have separate accounts as well. Because I believe, and this kind of helps, that salary difference or income difference.
Okay, yeah.
Because you set a rule where it's like, okay, we both, and this is easy. It's hard. It's easier said than done for me, because me and my spouse work in business together. But if we both had separate entities, the easiest way to do it is y'all both commit a certain percentage to the household. So whether you making $50,000 or she making $100,000, y'all are both putting in. Y'all have the same
percentage,
or stake in the game. Like, y'all both giving. This is just do what works for you, but 70%. So you're giving. Y'all both are contributing 70% to the household in the joint account, or to the family or the kids or whatever. And then that other 30% is for you. And then, y'all may have a bill account, a travel account or whatever, but y'all can both say, we have both committed the same amount.
Okay.
You see?
Yeah, I like that.
I got that. I can't take no credit from it. I got that from our old boss,
Okay.
Whitney. Like, that was her philosophy. Because we did a lot of, like, financial planning type conversations at my old job. And that was, like, an easy way. Like, we both, we submit 70%. And then 30%, and you can do what you want to do with your money. If you want to spend your 30% on bubble gum, that's what you choose to do. But that's your money to do what you want to do with it.
So I believe, so when we got married, I didn't know how we were supposed to merge money. And it was a big issue for me. Because I had stopped working after I had my first child. And so now here I am for the first time we ever been together, moneyless, no income coming in. So that was a issue for us. How do we do money with one income?
Yeah.
So I went around and I asked other married couples, like, how was they doing their money? I just asked. So I found out that with some, that for the most part, these people were having joint accounts. And some of the couples was like the husband put the whole check into the account, and the wife determines like what amount of money, like he gets a weekly allowance. Well, of course, my husband was not having that.
That's how I look like.
He was not doing that mess. So what we end up doing is during that time where I wasn't working, I just told him what I needed, and he would give it to me. And I felt like such a child, and so I'm never going to not have my own income. But that goes back to like my own little issues, so we gonna leave that alone. But I do believe you need to have a joint account. You need to have personal accounts, like your individual accounts. But your partner can still be on those accounts. Yeah, we have several different accounts because we have an account for my business, a house account. My personal account I've had since before college. He has business accounts. So I think when we move away from counting pockets and feeling like the other person trying to get over on us and quit listening to these people that tell you need this getaway money, y'all, if you really with a person
that goes back to trust.
It does. If you with a person that you know they not going to ever let you get down to your last dime, you don't need to pocket $10,000 that your partner don't know about. That's deceitful, that's dishonest, and it breeds lack of trust. Yeah. And it's you that's the problem. It's not your partner. Right. It's you. Don't allow people to plant those seeds in your mind that you need money. Go from where, from what. Yeah. You need to put that money into therapy and do some conflict resolution. Yeah. And get and deal with your traumas and everybody else that done told you that stuff.
It's almost like you are committed. Yeah.
I hate that.
You preparing for the ball to drop, or you got one foot in and one foot out.
I hate it.
In your mind, you preparing for escape.
How many times do we see them videos? Yeah. We see too many videos where these men are like struggling, working hard, and these women pocketing and holding back all this cash. Yeah. Help that man out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we don't. So the way bills go in my house, they get paid, y'all.
One way or
if it come from me, if it come from him, they get paid. For the most part, he is assuming a lot of the financial responsibility. Because he balling. But, I'll be his sugar mama. Yeah. And I still contribute. But I don't like when women do that whole thing. I'm going to let him spend his money and I'm going to save my money. Girl, if you don't get out of here with that bozo attitude, contribute.
And I think
equally.
Yes. And I think that sets, that kind of helps in situations where one person may be high or low. Me and my husband have gone through a lot of different phases where he was the highest earner, I was the highest earner. Like we go back and forth, and even now, something for me, this is me being very transparent with the business that's most dominant for us right now. On paper, everywhere, it's mine. It's my business, and I got so convicted. God had to deal with me because I was like, let me say this. He puts in a lot. Like he contributes a lot. There is so much in the business that could not and would not get done without his help. because he's just. I tell him he can sell ice to an Eskimo. Like that's his
gift. That's his gift.
Yeah. And so God had to reveal to me what was the best position for him in my business. And so he's like the business development manager, and he rocks it. Like he's the one that's going out and acquiring new business and finding bids and finding opportunities, and he does a good job at it. And so I'm thinking like, well, we good. As long as the money coming in, it don't matter. But God had to convict. I got convicted because I'm like, can you imagine? Because the way the business structure is, only my name can be on the account because we do a lot of like government work, and so they have to make sure that I'm the only one that can exchange that money. And so it's like, although he has access to it, I had to put myself in his shoes. Like, how would you feel if every time you needed something, you got to go ask him? Kind of going back to what you said, and it doesn't, even though that's your spouse, it doesn't feel good.
It does not.
Especially for a man who most of their, I guess their natural response is to protect and provide. And so I started giving him, he gets payroll. Like he gets payroll just like everybody else, because he needs to, although he has access to the money, he needs to have his own separate money, because he contributes just like any other employee. And so that has been a game changer. So it's just, you need your own money. Each person needs their own money.
And autonomy with that money.
Yes.
So my thing is, if you have a joint account, how you surprising your partner with anything?
Yeah.
They saw the transaction. They know you made an order from whatever company.
Yeah.
Like, you need some autonomy. Like, I don't ever see us being one joint account.
Yeah.
Like, my husband don't believe in putting all our eggs in one basket, so we won't ever even have one account.
Yeah.
Like, you need different pals.
Yeah. And I do not believe in that this my money, that's his money.
No.
That sets up dysfunction. That I could go.
It sure does. I'm telling you, it's just like that, putting the money to the side. Like, you don't know, none of this is just mine. Yeah. Even if I work it, like he empowers me to be able to go out there and do what I do. I empower him to be able to do what he does. Mm-hmm. Neither of our dreams work without the other person.
Yeah.
It just does not.
Yeah.
So it's ours.
I agree.
Yep.
We moving on to question 3.
Actually, you have kind of put us in question 4. Who is the boss in the relationship?
Ooh. So I went to a gathering on Friday, and the ladies, we were having a conversation. And one of the ladies said, she was saying how pretty much her therapist, and I want to hear what you have to say about this. Her therapist was saying that women set the tone for the marriage, the marriage, the house, the everything. Like, we set the tempo. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of, we were going back and forth on, is that biblical? Because, the man is the head of the house and the head of the family and stuff like that. But it was saying how women, we set the tempo. Like, most of the time, we're determining how many vacations the family's going to take. We're determining what extracurriculars the kids are going to be in, what our eating habits looks like. Okay, we're going to cook this many meals. We're going to eat out this many meals. This amount of money is needed towards household expense. So I ain't stepping into that boss. Who the boss? I'm staying away from that.
Yeah. I can't even say nothing. I don't want to. I'm be honest. I don't want to be the boss in my relationship. I don't think there should be a boss, but Because when it comes to like, when you think of a boss, it's like the person who's leading, who's guiding, who's, you know, in charge. I want my man to be in charge. But I don't want him to a certain extent. But I don't want you to be my boss.
I'm going to say this. I think that comes from a place of your single season and having to be independent.
I've had to be the boss so long that I don't want to be the boss
now you're ready to hand it off.
Yes.
Ooh.
Kita?
You know how I feel about that. Okay, so the boss in my household, hands down, is Comey Henderson. I can manage all day long. He is the boss. I can have ideas about what vacations we want to do, what restaurants we want to go to. But if he is like, nah, that can't happen because blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I might secretly go stew and call him names. Like, if he wouldn't have done it, you know, I might have like this private session.
Yeah.
But I also have to understand that when I'm at war with my husband, now I'm talking about a Christian marriage. This is not for, you know, y'all been talking like, please understand this is a Christian marriage. So according to like Christian principles, he is the head. And so when I'm bucking the head, anything with two heads is a monster, y'all. So if I'm bucking him, I gotta go to God about that. My submitting is not necessarily submission to Comey, more so than it is submission to God's plan for marriage.
Yeah.
So when I'm bucking and acting a fool and talking about what we could do, and I know you could make this happen, then I need to go to God because I'm out of order.
Yeah.
And I found that when I follow him, like I'm not gonna say you won't question. I do question. I give my opinion. I got a mouth. I'm gonna say how I feel about things. But if I'm stewing over it, that's a hard issue. That's no longer a Comey issue. That's me and God, and we got to go have some conversations. So I know when I'm in my feelings about something too tough, that I need to go check myself. Because even harebrained things that you think would not work on any planet, when you submit to God's plan for it, he'll redeem it.
Yeah.
So even when he have bad ideas, or I feel like, this don't make no sense. Where you come up with this? If I submit to that, I'm not just submitting to him. I'm saying, God, this is who you gave me. This plan don't seem like it makes sense. But I'm going to submit to it, but you got to make it work.
Yes.
And I do believe that's why we've achieved the level of success that we have, because I will submit to stuff that, you know, it seemed like it wouldn't make sense on paper, but God will align it.
Yeah.
Comey is not responsible for my provision. God is.
Yeah.
So when I trust God with that, then it's easy to go along with his idea. And I got to speak life into it, because what do I look like behind the scenes calling what he come up with stupid all the time?
Right.
And how will stupid profit me? So I can't.
You married him, stupid.
Yeah, but you know, you do walk away like, I don't know why he's so ignorant all the time.
But you have to trust, like you said, you have to trust God and trust the man that you married, and trust that he's going to lead you in the right way, even though you don't agree with some of the decisions that he makes or whatever. This is the man that I trusted with my life.
Right.
So I will submit this. This came to me while you were talking. Make God the boss of the marriage or the relationship.
Yeah.
Because when you say, okay, God, I don't trust him fully, which is still, you probably need to do some hard work.
You do.
Some healing to figure out what is that, what's keeping me from trusting him. But even, I think that's just human nature to completely just not, I mean, this is
trauma,
pretty much a stranger, you know? Like, you ain't grow up with him all your life, right?
Everything,
He's a stranger, you know? So I think that's pretty much, that's normal. But if you trust God with him, kind of like you said, it's like, okay, Lord.
Yes, surrender it all.
However it works out, it's going to work out. That's been my thing. What I keep telling myself, however it works out, it's going to work out. Because God had his hand on it.
Yeah.
So however it goes.
It has to.
It has to work out.
Yeah.
But normally it's in those moments where I want to control every detail that I am into it with him, because he is that way. It'll be fine. Just Like, no, I need A to Z. I need structure. I need to know
that's
the
all
next
of
step.
us.
Yeah. And so when he is just like, well, I'm going to do this and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, we can't blah, blah, blah our way through life. Like,
glitching and stuff like that. That's not how I work.
Yeah.
Right. But it works out. And I know it's because we have the leadership. Like, we go to the same church. We know what our role is. And when we out of line, it don't matter what we do or our justification for why we got out of line. God don't bless disorder.
Yeah.
So you making the mess out of your situation by not being in your lane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Preach.
I want to circle back to question number 3. Okay. Is love overrated?
You know, we lover girls. Love is not overrated. I love love. No, I love love. Now, I'm not saying, like, when you get to talking about, like, marriage and relationships and is love alone enough? No. But is love itself overrated? I don't think so. I think we all desire love. We all desire to be loved and to give love. And what you got to say?
Okay. So I won't say love is overrated because I would not be the best representation of Christ to our followers and our listeners if I said that, because we have a duty to love. Like,
God is love.
God is love. Like, he showed us love in the most purest way.
Yes.
And we love because he first loved us. So let's start there. That's the foundation. No, love cannot be overrated. Because we have a God who just, he loves us
Unconditionally.
Yeah.
unconditionally. So no, it's not overrated, but I will say that love is not always enough. Like, you need something. You need something
else.
an anchor to hold you in there, because some days you gonna question, like, do I love you? Is this really love? Like, am I in love with you? You definitely will not like your partner every single day. Now, what that anchor is, we may have to go to the professional.
No, I ask couples all the time, what is in love? What does that mean? How will I know? Like, what? How do we measure it? What's the rubric for it? Because we always talk about falling in and out of love with people. Tell me what that means for you. Because if it's I lack passion, I can tell you how to get that back.
Right.
If it's I just don't care for that person anymore, we can talk about how we can increase caring in your relationship. But define it. Because it's undefinable. Like, what are you talking about? You're no longer in love. Are you liking somebody else? What does that mean? So until the person can define what that we've fallen out of love or in love, what that means for them, I don't know where to start with you, because that's personal for you.
Yeah.
Remember, okay, so we went to that event a couple weeks ago, and each person had to say, like, what is love at the end? Like you said, falling in and out of love, I feel like that's a feeling. Like that, I just don't feel like I love this person right now. I don't feel it. I don't feel it. But to love someone I feel like it's a choice.
Yeah. It is,
like you
every
choose to
time.
love that person. Like you said, I'm not gonna always like you, but I choose to love you.
Yeah.
Through thick and thin, no matter what. So yeah. So like you said, I don't feel like love is overrated. I love love. But love is not enough to sustain a long-term relationship or marriage.
Sometimes in a marriage, all you got is them vows. Like, there have been plenty of times where I'm like, okay, Lord, I made a vow to you in front of a lot of people.
Yeah.
And it's been a lot of, we're coming up on year 5, and year 4 was the test. Like, it's been a lot of times where I'm like, okay, through sickness and health, through rich and poor, for better or worse. Like, I'm literally rehearsing and repeating and reading my vows, because it's like, that's all you got sometimes. The vow that I made. And because I ain't never been a quitter in my life, but
But people quit in relationships all the time.
Marriage will make you fold.
There's
So
this
that goes to the
African
next
thing.
question. Go ahead.
There's this African, this guy told me about this African tradition where you know how you gather everybody up for this wedding, you spend all this money for this wedding. So in order for these people to get divorced, they have to get all these people who were at the wedding together, sit in front of those people and tell them why they want to get divorced, and it's up to the people to determine if they'll allow them to divorce or not. Now, if our relationships were under that same kind of scrutiny, people would still be together.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
those people are going to tell you how insane you are. And the beautiful thing about this community is they provide support. Oh, so-and-so didn't know how to cook. Well, she going to go see Miss so-and-so and she going to teach her.
Yes.
You get the support that your marriage needs. We do relationships in isolation too much. The first thing people do when they get together is say, oh, well, we ain't going to tell nobody about it.
Keep everybody out
Why
your
not?
Listen.
You need community to
Yes.
support your relationship. You need a circle of people who are going to push you to that partner when you're trying to run away.
Yes.
And provide you support. I push you hard.
You do.
I was gonna say
I push people.
I have my own African tribe right here.
You
And
push me. Like it's a community of folks that say, yeah, you might be upset right now, but come on, you know this person is
Yes.
great
Yeah.
for you. You know y'all are together for a purpose, on purpose.
Yes.
Like it's something going to be birthed out of y'all relationship. You can't let that die.
Yeah.
You need that village
That
around you.
community,
And that is where love shows up. When you don't have the capacity to give it to that person, you're pulling it from your community to be able to share to your spouse, and they're getting it. Y'all, couples need friends.
yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all didn't
having married
listen.
friends.
October 12th, 2024, when I do my grand happy 5-year anniversary. Like, I know y'all arms tied because y'all done drug me. I mean,
But
literally,
you don't get there by yourself.
Yeah.
You don't, because walking out is easy.
Yeah.
I can think all day long. You can get you a new apartment and your furniture gonna be white and you ain't have to worry about no oil stain. Like I have this vision, but I also know that I don't have a single person in my family who was gonna say, I support you in that decision.
Yeah.
They like, girl, you being crazy.
Yeah.
And you need that
people like
sometimes.
that. Yeah. You need. Yeah, I can't wait.
I can't wait either.
I mean, it's just it's true. Like you need your I don't know. I feel like the older generation started that. Like, don't you tell nobody what's going on in your house. Don't you put no. Listen,
You need help.
Yeah.
you better find somebody you can talk
You drowning over there.
And you need that to be able to. You may have been through the things that Bree is just not experiencing, so you are able to give her that motivation. Like, it's not gonna always be like this.
Yeah,
like,
it's
this is how you
not.
handle this, and y'all will get through this. Over this hump is just a small marriage. You're doing life with this person is not
Right.
going to be easy, and it's not supposed to be easy.
Right.
But if you want to have those 30-year, 40-year, 50-year marriages, it's going to have some
Yep.
tests and
Yeah.
trials.
going back to the older generation, I think that's why so many of them, I have seen and I see some longevity marriages, but they don't like each other.
Yeah.
They don't like each other. They bitter. They resentful. They just there to make the time go by. And I think that's the reason why, because that was their philosophy of, we ain't gonna talk about it. We ain't gonna tell nobody. We ain't gonna. They don't believe in therapy. Like that's why, because that's why y'all are old and resentful. You really don't like your spouse, and it shows. But thankfully, our generation, we have we have bought in to therapy. Like,
And we just refuse to be miserable. Like,
Yes.
I'm not doing a whole life. Like, we have a lot of fun. Like, man, I know we're talking about how marriage can be heavy sometimes, but for the most part, we enjoy each other. Like, we on the phone all day long. We joke back and forth. I'm excited to see him. He's excited to see me. We have raised children together. Like, it's been good. There are hard times, but you need Gottman calls it a 4-to-1 ratio of positive experiences to negative experiences just to have balance in a relationship.
Yeah.
So know for every one thing that your partner is failing at, they are probably winning in all these other areas, but we don't overtly or outwardly say, I thank you that you come home at a decent hour every night. Like, we just take for granted that it's supposed to happen. But if you praise what you want to see more of, you'll see more of it. Because people like praise, they like adoration. So give them that. Quit harping on just the stuff that they do wrong and talk about what they really do well.
Yeah. And I think that too, like that kind of, that keeps me anchored. Like my husband he really is my best friend. Like, we are best friends before anything. And so that kind of thing helps, like when we beefed out. Like you miss your best friend.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
your person you talk to about everything.
Yeah.
Y'all laugh, y'all joke.
Yeah.
You like got some tea to tell. I can't even call you because I'm mad right now. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes, like that's the kind of thing that you know, pushes us out of, like, look, we got to fix this because I got something to tell you.
Sure do.
You know, like,
we got this show to watch and it come on Sunday at 7, so we got to knock this out.
Yeah. Like that helps to pull you out because you're like, I miss my best friend. And it takes a lot more energy to be mad.
Yes.
It's tiring.
It is. And you got to remember what you were mad about because they'll say something and you'll accidentally laugh.
Yeah.
And you got to remind yourself you were mad.
Yeah.
But thank God that stuff does not happen at the rate that it used to.
Yeah.
We just gonna laugh and get it on over with. Move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It takes too much energy
It does.
to be mad.
I tell a lot of my single friends that, like, they'll call me and they're like, this happened or this. And I'm like, you just got to let it go. I say it you using more energy being mad than you just be like, okay, it is what it is. And I've adopted that. So it's just like, I got so much peace now that I don't let things get to me the way that I used to. And I just let it go. Let it roll off my back.
Yeah. And somebody has to be the bigger person.
Right.
Like me and my spouse, like we can be mad together for a long time. Like we was both stubborn. But like now I'd be like, all right, you gotta be done being mad because I got something to tell you. Like I will literally say that. Like, you know, one of us gotta break the ice. So when y'all sitting over there, you know, stalling out to see who gonna be mad the longest.
You're just hurting yourself.
I know. I am the icebreaker.
Yeah.
I will say, I think it's time for you to apologize to me now. But it lightened the mood, you know. So I say whatever I gotta say. Get this over with. I hate it.
I think I'm the same. Like I'll forget that I'm mad because I got something to say or I want to share a TikTok.
Yeah.
I gotta share this with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And my icebreaker may not always be, you know.
Yeah.
Don't take mine because I'll be like, you done being stupid. You done being dumb.
Yeah. Don't take that one.
Yeah.
But hey,
I can see him like slow turning his head to you and smile and be like, you know the word.
Yeah. First of all,
Yeah. I can see
being
it.
stupid too.
I
yeah.
can see it.
No, well,
He gonna say that.
we have the worst. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, you gotta,
We have the worst your parent jokes. So, but yeah, break the ice because somebody got to do it. Like,
Got to.
and I don't recommend that. I be on you about that. Like, yeah, it's your turn. I be on you about
Just wait
it.
till we got to get her through year 1. We ain't gonna talk about
I'm
year 1.
just trying to get her to the house.
Okay.
Like, I just be like, now you did what? And then now her thing is, she'll wait till after it's done. She'll be like, well, this is the time. But I fixed it now.
I'm like, it's already done. Like,
I fixed
that
it.
happened last week.
I fixed it.
Week. Why you didn't tell me?
Yeah, because you didn't want to hear. You didn't
Look at
want to
that
hear.
progress.
Yeah. Yeah.
She getting it together on her own.
And you stopped blocking.
I have. I was talking to a friend about that the other day because she was telling me that she keeps blocking. And I said, now, I used to be like that. Look at me pulling somebody else through.
Yeah.
I said, I used to be like that. I said, you can't do that.
Yeah.
You can't. And I was telling her, you can't ghost. because you have to give people that closure.
Yeah.
And, you know, have that mature conversation with somebody. If it's not going to work out, it's just not going to work out. You have that conversation with them and you move forward. Because dating karma, I believe it circles around. And then you ghost people, you're going to get ghosted, but we'll have that conversation.
You've moved from blocking to
ignoring.
Not even that.
I do.
Them crazy contacts names.
Oh.
She'll put a number under a tombstone. In a heartbeat.
I sent them to the graveyard.
Then she had multiple tombstones.
One time, 2 tombstones called me on the same day. I thought it was 1 tombstone, but it was the other tombstone.
I said, you could at least put a tombstone in the initial so you know who you talking to. Just everybody tombstones, just everybody in the grave together.
Yeah.
That is such a neat idea.
Isn't it?
It's not.
I think so. I think it's healthy.
That's clever. I like it.
It's better than blocking.
It is better than blocking. It is.
So I'll take the
so
progress.
they can text. They can still text what they think.
And I don't know who it is. So when a tombstone pops up calling, I just don't answer because I don't know which one it is.
Then you got to go and look
And
at
then
the
I
messages.
go look. You mean to call?
Listen, progress. We'll take it. We will take it because last season we was just trying to get you delivered from blocking.
Yeah.
So that's
What
progress.
pastor say? Don't block them. Let them see you.
Yeah.
So I took that.
But see, we sometimes they be real sassy and they block. Remember we got blocked?
Yeah, we did. But then we got unblocked. But then he turned into a tombstone.
Keep me blocked. If you blocked me, keep me blocked. Because you was too sassy for that anyway.
We
probably want to let me shut
What's
up.
that next? What's the next question?
This probably the one we don't have the time for the rest of them, but where do we want to leave off? We kind of talked about the finances and spending habits.
Should you always put your family first?
Define family.
Yeah, because
Once you get married, your family, your husband or your wife is your family. So I guess they're asking if you should put maybe your family that you had before you got married first.
Absolutely not.
No, heck no.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I mean, I agree.
Only if you're crazy.
Yeah.
So I feel like when the pastor or whoever does your ceremony and say, I now pronounce you husband and wife, you are your own 2-person family.
Yeah.
And you are just as valid as the family each of you came from.
Yeah.
So when you say family in the context of marriage, the family is the partner. Whatever children are a part of that union, mama and daddy on both sides, they have now become extended family. So no, they do not get prioritized. They do not. Not in my household and not in any healthy relationship that I know of. Now, your obligation to parents is to leave honorably and respectfully. You shouldn't have to have no big old hooplas at the ceremony. He with me now. He can't do... Like, it should not look like that, y'all. That's dysfunctional. But it also shouldn't look like now my mother-in-law is there every day and she cooking the meals and she washing the clothes and he got to spend 6 hours over there. He got to take her to the grocery store and he got to, like, it should not look like that. Your sister kids shouldn't be able to come to your house all day long because this is what I did before I got with you. Like, you guys need time to actually be a couple. That's what honeymoons are for. So you do get a period to kind of isolate. Anybody who has an issue with that, they're probably going to be an issue for your marriage long term.
Yeah.
And I would suggest setting those boundaries and
Early.
enforcing those boundaries
Early.
day one.
Early.
Because if you wait, that's their little inch to come in and start dividing y'all. And that's what it looks like. We are Black. Sometimes it looks a little different. And when I work with people who are other races, cutting off from families is something that is common, but we don't cut off from relatives like that. As a matter of fact, it's more likely for us to move them folks in our house than to disconnect from those people.
Yeah.
And you may have to disconnect for a season just to enforce boundaries and create the cocoon that your marriage needs to be able to grow.
Yes.
Like, you really do need that. And my partner, he comes from a single parent household. That's all he's ever known. So when his mom or his sisters need something, he's going. And family members, family of women, he is going. That becomes a problem for us.
Yeah.
So I'm supposed to figure it out over here and be she woman, but they can call at the drop of a hat and you jumping out of the bed and you going, oh, brother, we got an issue. So it's those kind of things that you have to nip in the bud early. And it's not that you being mean or you don't want to share your partner, but it's about how do we set things for our family. No, we're not going over there for every holiday. We got to figure out how we're going to do our own holidays here. We are building traditions in our own family. So if we want to go to Cancun on Thanksgiving, that shouldn't be a deal breaker for everybody else. And your family member needs to be able to give you space to do the things that you need to do to set your family up well.
Right. I was about to say that taking y'all into my last therapy session with my therapist, she was saying that most of the time in your marriage, like when you have these rules of like, oh, well, we're going to do Thanksgiving with your family, like these hard set rules, like no flexibility, most of the time you're trying to heal your inner child. Like, it's something that you experienced or something that you went through where it's like, there was dysfunction when it came to holidays when you were a child. And so you get pretty much hell-bent on trying to fix that.
Yeah.
And this is heavy to say, but it's not your spouse's responsibility to heal your childhood. That's your responsibility. And so I think sometimes we push things off on them that's not even their fault. Like, you sitting up here tripping about where Thanksgiving going to be spent and how it's going to be spent. And they just like, they really don't care. And you're making a big deal about it because you grew up as a kid and you couldn't go with your dad's family, or you couldn't, it was always something. That's not his fault. That's something that you need to heal. And then y'all create your own traditions and what it'll look like. And, so that's something that she had to not very gracefully tell me, like, you're trying to heal a part of your childhood, and that is not your spouse's responsibility at all. That's tough, but it's the truth.
That's life. We do. Our whole lives can be set up like that.
Yeah.
You grew up not getting the things that you want, so now when your spouse says no to you, you have a tantrum, an adult tantrum. It can manifest in a lot of different ways. Even the kind of partners that we choose. If you felt like you grew up in a space that was unsafe, now you like these protector kind of figures. Like, you see it manifest, those attachment issues. You see them manifest in people's adult lives.
Yeah. If I could go back and do anything different, which, me and my husband, we started dating so young, but if I could do anything different, I would have started therapy earlier. I would have done therapy in my single season so that I could give him the best version of myself, a more healed version of myself. You don't realize how much trauma and childhood pain and stuff you have. And most of the time, it don't manifest until you're in a marriage.
Yeah.
And you're trying to figure out, like, why am I like this? Why is this like this? Why is this like that? And then you start going to therapy and you figure out, like, that's something that was subconsciously placed in you as a child, or you're trying to heal something from your childhood. That's the one thing that, 5 stars, highly recommend. Like, go to therapy, individual therapy, before you get married. Because that person, they deserve to have the best version of you. You deserve to be the best version of yourself. And so that's just something I wish I would have known. But, therapy has just become, I guess you could say, popular over the last few years, where people are so vocal about it and talking about it.
In our community,
it's getting
anyway.
accepted more.
I would
community.
say don't just go, stay.
Yes.
Don't just go 2-3 times and be like, well, I went to therapy. No, stay in therapy.
I'm gonna go talk
because
to that lady. Even when things are good, like a lot of people, they go when therapy, like when something goes wrong in their life, they go to therapy, and then when things get good, they're like, oh, I don't need it anymore, but continue to go.
Yeah, keep that relationship because you want to at least, you can do maintenance sessions where you come in like once a month or something like that.
I have never been promoted to once a month.
Another thing, like when you said being demoted,
listen,
healed.
Your therapy's gonna get you because you just called this once a month a promotion.
Because for me, because she's working
You
on
always evaluating
on my ability to say wins and fails. I'm always evaluating, but I think you go from weekly to bi-weekly to then to monthly. Weeks. And I went from weekly to bi-weekly, then I got pushed back to weekly. Yeah. So in my head, it was a demotion. But it don't matter. Just go.
Yeah.
Yes, go.
I do want to leave with this, though. We've talked about this before. Like in your single season, when you're alone and you're going to therapy, and like you said, when you got into your marriage, there were things that came out. You like, where this come from? A lot of times we think we're healed, but think we're okay. Mm-hmm. And you can be healed by yourself all day long, but it's not until you're put in situations where you're actually triggered that things come up and you're like, oh, I'm not as healed as I thought. Oh, this actually did bother me, like I said. So when you're alone, it's easy to be healed and whole and everything like that. But it's not until you get in situations with people that trigger you that kind of, bring things to surface that you didn't know that were in there.
Yeah.
So
we may have to do a part 2 on this so we can really finish these other questions. And by all means, if y'all have questions to add, comment them, email them to us, send them to us because we want to explore what y'all are thinking and dealing with also. But this was good.
Or if you would have responded differently, let us know what your take on it.
Put it in the comments. We'll talk about it. But as always, we want to thank you all for joining us. We want to encourage you to continue to like, to share, subscribe, send this to your friends, someone you think that can benefit from this, and continue to give us your feedback. So as always, thank you. I am Breonna.
I'm Meketia.
And I'm Tanisha.
And this is the Whole Journey Podcast.